Yo, what is going on, guys? So on today's episode, we have a video here which a lot of you guys have been sending me lately, titled "Nothing Has Been the Same Since 2020. Weird Times We Are In." So obviously since 2020, we had that big thing which you can't even talk about here on YouTube, where everybody had to get the you had people locked up inside their homes, right? You had basically a bit of an economic fall, shall we say here. Inflation is through the roof now. A lot of things have been going on since 2020. So let's jump in. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments, and let's see what this man has to say.
What's good with y'all? Alter Ego Sean. Hope y'all doing well. Tapped in. I advise y'all to start taking walks too. Really good for your mental. But the video today is about things have not been the same since 2020. You look at any aspect of life. You look at working. We all work. You look at relationships. We all have different relationships. You look at the future. Just being optimistic about your future. Nothing has really seemed the same. And I don't know why that is exactly. I think something that has to do with it is we all were able to, for at least a half a year, sit at home every day and kind of see, man, like, I'm working my life away. Man, I really don't see my family as much as I should. Man, bro, I think so many people came to the realization of so many different things during that can I say, I'm not even going to try it, but during.
I love how you can't even say the word here on YouTube, by the way, because YouTube throws a hissy fit about it. But no, people weren't just sitting inside. People were forced to sit inside. A lot of people lost their jobs, right? Couldn't talk to anybody, couldn't go to the gym, stuck inside. And the government really showed that it was totally prepared to take away your freedoms immediately, pretty much, right? Everybody had to get the experimental jabberino. And yeah, a lot of people realized some things, man, right? Since 2020. Okay, it's forced a lot of introspection. People probably realized that they tolerated a bit more than they probably should have. Relationships these days, I mean, this isn't even a 2020 thing. We all know this, right? Relationships are absolutely in the gutter. Marriage is in the gutter these days, not as a concept, but as an institution. It's designed to steal from men. I mean, things have been going a little bit downhill since 2020. We've had disaster after disaster. Now we have this whole economic crash that's going on. The government wants to pretend, for example, that our economy isn't completely screwed. It is, okay? It absolutely is. Inflation is disturbingly high. We have, or at least, in America in particular, a lot of these big areas who, I wanted to visit some of these places when I was a kid, guys, but over in America, homelessness is absolutely rife in a lot of these previously famous and inspiring areas, and things have just gone downhill, really.
During 2020, we had to kind of just be away from everyone. And it's crazy because 4 years later, nothing really seems the same. And I don't think people really talk about it, we're in another pandemic right now where people just don't want to work, and people want to say it's Gen Z or it's just younger people. It's older people who don't want to work too. It's older people who are tired of being sick and tired, and it's kind of leaving everyone with the question of what now? What do I do now? I know this isn't what I want to do. What do I want to do now?
Yeah, so this guy is absolutely correct here. There are a lot of people, both old and young, and everyone in between, who are not interested in working these days. You know, I did a video recently on my channel, guys, where we talked about the fact that a lot of guys aged 25 to 55 are simply opting out of work. And there's many reasons for that, but at the end of the day, it really just comes down to the juice isn't worth the squeeze, right? A lot of men in particular, they used to go out and they used to work these jobs so that they could care and provide for their family and their wife and their children and things like this. And you'd be rewarded with those things. These days, guys, you know, you work a 9 to 5, you work your backside off, and there's nothing really waiting for you at the end of the line. A huge mortgage, maybe. Kids oftentimes in Western countries are off the, you know, you can't really have the kids these days, especially with a lot of these modern women. Marriage is off the table. Don't really get the wife at the end either. And then, you know, you go out and you earn this money for what, right? A lot of guys have figured out, hey, I can live on like 1/3 the amount if I simply don't have to deal with modern women, for example. And there's not a lot of incentive, particularly for men, I think, these days, guys. There's really not a lot of incentive to really pull yourself up by the bootstraps and go out there and do your thing, okay? That being said, I think it's really important, for example, for men to go to the gym and have something that they focus on, that they try and improve at. Otherwise, you will end up in a very dark place. But yeah, it's just really, you know, it's really sad to see, man. A lot of people don't want to work. They're fed up with it. You know, you work all day, you work for years and years and years, and you own essentially nothing.
Dating. I don't know if y'all are married, y'all have been with people, been with someone for a while. Dating has not been the same since 2020. Now, a lot of that has to do with where we're at socially. You know, just men and women. It's like we're on two completely different spectrums, but pre-2020, dating was normal, bro. You could look at someone and be like, I can see a future with them. You can't do that anymore. The future. I want you to honestly think. Now, I'm in a different boat. You know, I am pretty optimistic about my future, but when you think about life, do you really think 5 years from now? It's like something weird where you can't even really like think long term, because it's almost like I don't even know what will happen by then, you know? It's like, it's hard to think about a future if you don't think the world has one. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I can't see, like, it'll be 2025 in a couple months. In 5 years, we'll be in 2029, and it'll almost be, but basically in 5 years, it'll be 2030. Do you guys really see a world in 2030? Like, can you look 5 years from now and be like, this is where I'll be, or this is where the world will be? Or I can't.
I will say this, there's not a lot of certainty, but I can say with certainty that it's going pretty damn downhill, okay? On the topic of dating that this man just brought up here, for example, I think that dating is only going to get worse and worse. The invention of dating applications, guys, was pretty much the beginning of the end right there, okay? Because you are presenting, particularly the women, with a stupid amount of options, and you're presenting a very small amount of dudes with a ridiculous amount of options. And so women chasing these top dudes essentially means that everybody loses. Absolutely everybody loses. Even these top men, right? If they were to commit 1-to-1 ratio with women who selected them, I mean, you would still have a bunch of dysfunction out there in the dating world. It's completely upside down these days. I think it's only going to get worse. Even if, as well, guys, even if, for example, reform is brought to marriage institutions, maybe we end the alimony and things like this, end no-fault divorce. I mean, these days, guys, the attitudes that are pushed forward, particularly in modern-day society, are disgusting. They are absolutely disgusting. I swear, every piece of like modern-day media that you consume, take movies, for example, man, you know, the men are just made to look like absolute crap. Masculinity is pretty much going out of fashion. as it were. So I think there will be a future in 2030. Do I think that it will be a particularly bright one as far as dating goes? Definitely not. As far as economically speaking goes, I mean, maybe we'll go through an entire recession before then, who's to say? But the economy is also certainly going very, very trash. And so you have a lot of these guys, young men, old men, who are thinking to themselves, well, like, why would I go out there and work anyway, bro? Like, what, for some wife who thinks that she can do better anyway and who's going to divorce me for, you know, try and take my assets and things like this? I'm good, man. I'm good.
This is where the world will be, or I can't, you know, maybe I'm that way because like the past year I've kind of seen you can plan all you want, but really you don't have any say at the end of the day. You know, you can plan to be somewhere in a year, but you don't really have any control of that. You don't.
Yeah, I mean, you can plan your finances for a year, guys, but at the end of the day, inflation's going to make sure that you're 20% poorer. You see what I'm saying? I don't know the exact statistic right before I have some dude in the comments who's like, actually, Taylor, it's 17%. Don't give a damn. But, you know, it is kind of hard to plan for your future these days when it is actively being sabotaged. Like, let's not twist it, guys. It is actively being sabotaged, okay? These things, these companies, for example, dating applications, these are not doing a service to people, right? They are, in a sense, in a very, very morbid sense, right? They're giving people that instant gratification. But this is just the story, man, of like, if you give people what they want isn't always good for them. You know, you can give women pretty much unlimited options in dating, guys, and they still aren't happy. Like they still will not, it'll just ruin their lives completely and utterly. So very interesting how these things work.
You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. How do you know what's going to happen a year from now? What I'm saying is more so, I can't even picture a world in 2030. You know? I remember I was in high school and I could picture myself when I was 25. I could picture myself when I was 21, you know? Like when I was 18, I could picture a world 5 years. Like I can't do that anymore. Like I have no idea where I'll be when I'm 31. And it's only been that way since after 2020, bro. We're living in such weird times. Like just think, man. These times are so weird. We just had the presidential election last night. And it was almost like I want to be optimistic about the future, but we're living in such weird times. It's almost like we have to be realistic at the same time. Like I want y'all to think about something. All right? It was it maybe 2 months ago, Donald Trump was almost assassinated? Who talks about that? Have you heard anyone talk about that? It's like it happened and then a week later we forgot about it.
Yeah, that was absolutely crazy, man. Obviously, I'm Australian, so I don't live in America, but that was just crazy for me to see. I also know actually of a few creators who covered this crap on YouTube and they got punished for doing it, right? I know dudes who have done YouTube videos on this or attempted to do videos on this particular subject. And guess what, man? They get punished. They get silenced for talking about it, which is absolutely insane. I've also seen a lot of people come out after the fact and they were like, yeah, you know, the person who perpetrated this particular act, well, he was a Trump supporter. Like the amount of stupid crap that I hear surrounding this is absolutely insane. But it's a problem, right? It's a real problem, especially on YouTube and these applications is like, guys, I have to filter what I have to say on these videos, right? You say the wrong word, your video gets flagged, it gets shut down. The first thing they do, right, is they'll just they'll just demonetize your video. They can take it down. And, you know, like you can't even talk about a lot of these issues. It's incredibly, incredibly sad, especially ones that are as big and as important as that particular thing that happened. Downright disgusting to me, man. I agree with this guy. I totally agree with him.
That's how odd times we're living in, where a former president of the United States was almost assassinated. Like, bro, like, skimmed him. Like a millimeter to the right.
Yeah, and all those people who were oh so anti-conspiracy theory, also, you know, they're all of a sudden coming out and saying things like, well, actually the perpetrator was a Trump supporter, and it was all completely staged for views and things like that. All of a sudden the anti-conspiracy people come out of the woodwork with all of their conspiracies. Absolutely hilarious. I will say though, he got some absolutely fantastic photos out of that. As far as I'm concerned, in the picture of American history, man, Trump got an absolutely fantastic picture, or a few pictures out of that particular thing, right? But incredibly insane situation. People want to pretend like it was faked these days. I mean, the level of incompetence as well, as far as I understand it, around the defense of him was just completely crazy. There were so many precautions that were just completely and utterly neglected. And you've got to sit there, man. You've got to ask yourself the question, why were those precautions neglected? Okay, it certainly seems to me like something was a little bit fishy there.
He's dead. And it's like we just forgot about it a week later. Like, we're living in very bizarre times. Where we literally forget what happened last week. What were you doing last week? And I can honestly say, like truly, I believe it's been this way since 2020. Like, these times are so weird, you know. People are working, and I think a lot of people would love to think, oh, well, it's just because it's just financial times and it's really hard. And I get that, you know. People are struggling financially, and it's hard to kind of plan for the future, or, you know, even plan next week when you don't know when your next meal is going to be. So I get that. But it's more than that. It's more than just about money. It's more than just about your 9 to 5. People don't even want relationships anymore. And I'm not talking about romantic relationships. I'm talking about relationships, period. People don't have friends anymore. People don't talk to each other. People don't care about each other. People don't... It's like we're all... Bro, like, it's weird.
I completely agree with this, man. A lot of people have become especially reclusive these days, right? And I'll put my hand up and say I'm guilty there, right? But, you know, I don't particularly want a large group of friends or anything like this. I'm someone who I've always liked to kind of stick to myself and my small group of friends and things like this. But yeah, you definitely see it more and more these days, right? A lot of guys in particular, they don't want to have all these friendships with random people. They don't want to go out there and talk to people. A lot of people are not interested in community building. They don't care about their neighbors. They don't care about the people close to them as much. There's no sense of community these days anymore. I hear a lot these days that everybody is more connected than ever. We have the ability to connect to people. I mean, you know, you could message pretty much anyone in the world that you want to right now. Whether or not they'll reply is a different question. But we are so connected digitally. But you go out there into the real world and everybody is so disconnected. You can walk through a major metropolitan city these days, and this man is absolutely correct. People stick to themselves. They don't really talk to one another. I mean, maybe someone will here and there, but certainly these days people are a lot more reclusive. They stick to themselves. It's not so much about community. It's not so much about building trust with your local area or anything like this. Very, very sad stuff to see. I also think that there's not a lot of incentive for this every day. You know, people have accessibility at their fingertips, right? I make jokes and I talk about this on the channel a lot of the times, right? But for example, these successful men on dating applications, they can order women to their house like it's DoorDash, man. They have no reason to go out there and talk to women. Ergo, we have so many women complaining about being approached and things like this, and the whole Me Too thing. I mean, it all kind of comes together. Have you guys noticed that some of my videos have gone missing over here on YouTube? That is because I am slowly moving them over to locals where I can actually host them without the risk of getting in trouble. If you are not aware, many creators are starting to move over to places like locals, Rumble, etc. because YouTube is not really a free speech platform. So if you are interested in supporting the channel and getting access to videos that are no longer available here, make sure that you come and join us over on locals. The link will be in the video description down below. Supporters get access to their own exclusive videos that are no longer available to the public. So make sure you go to the link in the description and join us over there now. But anyway, guys, back to today's episode.
We are naturally social creatures. Even if you're an introvert or you don't really like go out much, you need to be social. You need to talk to people. So it's just such weird times where we like like I don't even know, like we have all these depressed people, we have all these people who feel so alone. And was it like this before 2020? It wasn't.
I think it was certainly getting there. And guys, I really want to emphasize this, right? If you're a dude who's struggling right now, you know, you're not feeling the best, going day to day is really quite difficult, please immediately get a gym membership. Start going 5 to 6 days a week. None of this 3 days a week coward nonsense. Go 5 to 6 days a week. Pay attention to what you eat. Stop eating crap. Stop eating, stop having alcohol, all of this nonsense. Fix your eating. Get some proper sleep and go to the gym. Okay? You will feel infinitely better, man. I'm telling you. It really saddens me to see because I think modern day society does a very, very, very good job at demoralizing men. Right? Making men, there's nothing really at the end of the rainbow for dudes. It doesn't really give them a lot of incentive. So the onus these days is really on men to kind of get your life together and make that future for yourself. The government isn't coming to save you. Nobody is coming to save you as a man. The government doesn't give a damn. Okay, they might pretend that they do. Maybe you'll get some handouts here and there, but guess what? That makes inflation worse. Good luck. Don't expect somebody to come and save you, guys. If you're a man in particular, you're struggling, go out there, go to the gym, focus on what you're eating, get enough sleep, and then go from there. Okay, I promise you guys, if you're in a dark place, please understand that that is probably your best course of action. You're not going to find happiness from meeting some woman on a dating application. You're not going to get happiness when the government comes and rescues you, because chances are it won't. Okay, personal responsibility has to be adapted these days, guys. It is basically required, or you're going to end up as someone who is in a very dark place in their life.
I remember getting together with the guys and just going and hooping. I remember going on late night drives and just talking about life, And yeah, I was younger, but as you get older, it's not like people change. As you get older, it's not like our human nature changes. We've been the same, like we've had the same human nature since the beginning of time. So it's just weird because nothing has been the same. Shout out to Drake, man. Nothing was the same. But I don't know, man. Am I tweaking? I know I'm not tweaking. I'm speaking straight facts.
Yeah, I agree with this guy. Nothing has really been the same since 2020. At the end of the day, guys, if you want your life to improve, kind of thing, you want to go in the right direction, it's all about personal accountability. These institutions, these governments, they don't give a damn. Most modern women, for example, don't give a damn. If you're a woman who's out there dating, chances are you're probably selecting the wrong men these days, going for the top percentage on dating applications. These men don't give a damn. It's all about personal accountability and building something that you can be proud of. But guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. Remember to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you take care of yourselves out there, and I will see you all in the next episode. Peace.